Alrighty. Hello, hello. 7 o'clock. Let's get this party started. And so let me introduce myself. I am Tanika Mayhew Butler. I am a wife and a mother of two. And one of the two is on the autism spectrum, Kendall. Kendall is now 22 years old, and she is the why behind what I do. I want to make sure that all of the Kendalls, that the educators dealing with them know how to work with them, that parents are more comfortable, parents are more educated than we were, to avoid some of the struggles that we faced as we were on this autism journey. So I am recently retired, and I am now the lead consultant of Kendall Autism Support and Consulting, where we provide training for educators and businesses on how to best support individuals on the autism spectrum. Because guess what? Autism does grow up. So now, tonight, I just want to hit on a couple of things. And I want to hit on 3 mistakes that happen more than they probably should in the education setting. And they're easy things to fix. And that's the big thing, when it really comes down to autism spectrum disorder, is that a lot of things really aren't these hard-working things you have to do. They're really just some small things that if you could just make this adjustment, it will make a huge difference. So one of the things in particular, right off the bat, that happens in classrooms, and this is classrooms where it's small group classrooms, or this can be classrooms that are where students are in a co-taught setting. And one of the things is that too much talking. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the adult in charge, instead of keeping things short, sweet, and to the point, they actually talk a lot more than they have to. They add a lot more words that are unnecessary to really just ask what they're asking, or talk with that student. So that's a big one. You don't have to say a whole lot, and you really can get the same thing accomplished. I think because we live in such a verbal world, we a lot of times feel like, it happens so easily. Yes, we say something, and instead of us stopping, we actually just kind of keep going and keep going and keep going. So that's my first thing, is really and truly, as much as it may sound, stop talking so much. You really don't have to. Just kind of keep simple, short phrases, and for that command or whatever you're asking them to do, do not get caught up in a lot of long conversations. And it's something that you have to, watch, simply because it's not the way you're going to communicate with everyone else. So that's one thing we all can work on, is to not talk so much. I cannot stress that enough. Now, here's the next one. Okay, when it comes to all of the talking too much, this is the other part. When you ask a question, when you give a directive, you're going to have to give time for them to process what you have said. You've got to pause. So when you ask that question, when you make that statement, you cannot hit immediately with the follow-up, because you have not allowed them time to process what you said the first time. So in asking Kendall what she wants to eat, if I start immediately saying, what do you want to eat? Do you want this? Do you want that? I've started going too many ways. I've started saying too much. I'm asking her, what does she want to eat? And then I need to stop and let her process what I'm asking, and then move on once I get a response. Rather, the response is fully verbal. I always say, before Kendall was more verbal than she is now, we could always tell what she meant. Her expression on her face gave us everything. We knew when she was confused about what we had said, and we knew when she clearly understood. And now that she's older, we can tell when she understands and really just does not. Yes, knowing Kendall loves her pizza. Yes, she does. Do not mess with her Friday pizza. That does not change. It does not matter where we are. That is the same. Kendall is going to have pizza on Friday night. That's something we kind of set ourselves up with, but it's okay. Pizza on Friday, wings on Saturday. But it is what it is. But yes, so 2 things. First thing, stop talking so much. That's the big one. We've got to make sure we're not saying a whole lot of unnecessary words. And then after, we've got to make sure, guess what? We pause for them to process what we said. It's 2 things there right off the bat. So we want to make sure that we're allowing time for processing what we've asked. When we don't allow that time, what can happen is we then get frustrated because we feel like they're not moving fast enough. We really haven't given them time to process the information. So we want to make sure we're giving the time to process the information before we get frustrated about something and just think they're just not paying attention to us or they're just not listening. So before you assume that, you've got to make sure you realize that you've given time for them to process what you're saying. And so then that's the third thing, is stop doing stuff for them if they can do it. I know sometimes it may not be done the way you want it done, but we can create situations where they are just helpless when in actuality they're able to do things, but we just don't let them. So we want to make sure if that individual can do something, we want to give them time to do it. That's what we want to make sure. We want to make sure we allow time, for them to think about what we're saying and then allow them to try and do it before we just jump. Hello. Hey, Yoki. Before we just jump to the whole situation of, guess what? I'm going to do it for them. And I know a lot of times it's so much easier to just do a lot of things. But if they are able to if they can do it, it may not be perfect. But guess what? That gives them that sense of accomplishment. There are a lot of things that Kendall, she does around the house. Are they perfect? No. But it makes her feel so good when she is able to accomplish them. For example, the waffles were in one big pack. And she was so proud of herself because she went and broke the one big pack open and put them to a bag, in a sandwich bag, and put them back in the freezer. So would I have wanted her to do that? No, because that was a whole lot of bags that didn't need to be used. But it was something she wanted to do, and she was so excited that she was able to do it and let us see that she had done it without us even asking her to do anything. So we want to make sure we allow, individuals to do what they're able to do. It may not be done the way we want it to be done, but guess what? It's getting done. And we've got to remove ourselves from the situation and think about how it's going to make them feel when they accomplish something. It's going to give them that sense of independence, and everybody wants to feel good about things. So 3 things, because I said I'm going to hold myself to 10 minutes from now on. 3 things we want to make sure that we're not doing. Is 3 mistakes that happen all the time. One is talking too much. Just keep your words short, to the point. Say what you have to say. After you've kept things short and simple, guess what? After you ask a question or give a directive, pause. Allow time to process what has been asked of them. When we do not allow time, we then get frustrated because what we want to happen is rapid fire results, and that then creates a situation that can turn into a whole lot of back and forth. Yes, it does. It gives them autonomy and accomplishment. We all want to feel a sense of accomplishment. We definitely do. And that's that third thing. Let them feel accomplished. It does not matter their cognitive level. Everybody wants to feel that they have accomplished something. And we've got to make sure we're not taking that away simply because we want to do it because it's going to be done so much faster. If you know they really want to work on putting their shoes on, then you're going to have to create more time in the morning if you know that's something they're going to struggle with, but they insist on doing it. So it's easy, yes, to just say, okay, I can do it. But what did you just say to them? I do it better, or that, you can't do it. So we've got to make sure we're allowing, moments where they're able to do something, that we allow them to do it. So those are my 3 mistakes that hopefully, you know, we can all learn from and make sure we use moving forward. And thank you for joining me tonight. And I will see you all in these Facebook streets later this week. Have a great one.